Hey guys, my name's Lee Boyle. Welcome to Nursery Podcast. We're coming to you from Ohio's creative voice. I wanted to address a couple small things just for long-time listeners. If you're not a long-time listener, ignore this part. But if you've listened from episode 1, I just wanted to address a few little things. Number one, I know I sound crazy sometimes. I listen back and I hear it, and I'm going too fast, not really making a whole lot of sense verbally. I think my mouth is ahead of my mind, or vice versa. Just weird. Not doubting myself or trying to display any lack of confidence. I just see that I'm kind of stumbling verbally, and hopefully the exercise of broadcasting to you on a podcast over the internet will in time improve my way of verbally expressing. No, again, I'm not really trying to paint a picture of my style as a flaw, but rather I just want to tell you that if I didn't make sense at certain points to you, I also noticed it, and it didn't make sense to me either some of the time, particularly when I'm talking to guests. I think I get so comfortable so quickly in talking to them that I leave things out and stuff like that. I'm not saying you've been left in the dark. I think you follow me. You're smart people. I just think that maybe some things could have been explained slightly more in a nutshell. Or, I don't know. You get it. Also, the first podcast I ever did was called Trapper Keepers and Nursing, and my wife was a guest. I may have mentioned something about New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the year 2015, which this is. If you're listening, this is what this is from, this year 2015. Future people. I want to confess a couple things. My wife and I had these New Year's resolutions of no donuts, no regular French fries, and no cheeseburgers. Here's what's happened. The donut thing has been solid. We've stuck to it. No donuts. And in fact, I haven't had a donut since, I believe, late 2012, if I have that right. I believe October 2012 I quit energy drinks and donuts, so I'm excited to say that. Maybe some of you guys that are listening have done something similar. Hopefully you can take what I'm saying as an encouragement to keep going. It doesn't mean you can't have anything ever, but it's nice to give up a couple of vices once in a while to show yourself you have some control. The cheeseburger thing. I had somebody at my workplace buy me food. I didn't want to be impolite. It was a cheeseburger. They didn't ask me what I wanted, and I ate it. And then, again, my wife and I went and saw some awesome friends in Columbus recently, and they made us these delicious hamburgers out on the grill outside. I couldn't be like, I'm not eating a New Year's resolution. Just ate it. But I'm going to try to stay, that doesn't give me license now to go crazy. I've eaten 3 so far this year. And something about maybe the fact that Ellen and I said our resolutions out loud to each other, I feel like it makes it so much easier to go back on them. Usually the opposite is true. But the donut thing, I quit that quietly and silently, verbally, didn't really express it to anyone until a few months in. And it's held. I haven't had a donut. I can't wait to have one, by the way. Oh my God. I saw a chocolate bacon one recently that somebody had. And then my other friend had a Butterfinger one. Oh my God, it looks so good. 2016, the minute it hits, man. Oh yeah. Anyways, the fry thing. French fries. That's something also we mentioned in the first episode. It was, we're not going to eat any burgers, regular French fries, or donuts. And energy drinks is something that I've decided to kind of permanently quit. I haven't had one of those either. But anyways, back to the fries. The fries thing is super lenient, ridiculously lenient. And it's like curly, oh, okay. Sweet potato, I'll eat those. JoJo's, of course, those aren't fries. It was only like regular fries. And we've been relatively good on that. Pretty steady holding. And it's kind of, I know some of you are thinking, like, fries are fries. Why do you have all these dumb little stipulations? But it's weird, man. You cut out just a burger, you cut out a regular fry, you cut out what's usually defined as a donut, then yeah, a cheesesteak isn't a burger. A cinnamon roll isn't a donut. Curly fries aren't regular fries. There's always those loopholes. But those three things I just named, cinnamon rolls, curly fries, and cheesesteaks, they're just a little bit less common to burgers, regular fries, and donuts. That they just stay out of our path a little, and it helps our diet. We're not super health nuts. It's just nice to pull one or two things out of the equation once in a while. If that does anything for you, I hope it does. Today my guest is Erin Kane. I get to talk to her about an experience she had where she actually broke her neck on a water slide. So I hope you enjoy it. Hope somebody is listening who cares, and please listen to Third Class at thirdclass.net. Watch the cool videos of Bullskit Productions at bullskit.com. Look, Mom, we're on YouTube. All right, here we go.
It's cold in this neck of Ohio tonight, and the style is right for a sad winter song. I feel lost like a speck in a pile out of sight, and though I try with all might, I just don't feel that strong. As we walk through a field trekking on snowy dirt, my eyes start to hurt trying to see a smile. And we talk about fears making our story short. You are scared to get shot, your bravery goes for miles. And there's more miles to go as we walk the train tracks. I think we lost the rain back in the woods we just hiked. And the store signs can glow as you walk sidewalk cracks. I think we lost the town back trading street lamps for kites.
Are you cool? For some reason I wanted to walk. Is that okay?
Yeah,
okay.
Totally. It's like a really...
I did that for with a hike.
Oh, that's perfect.
Boardman Park.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, why not?
so I'm just gonna hand it to you when you answer. So you just do this.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
So guys, this is my friend Erin. We're walking in Boardman, and I wanted to ask you to tell them, and I'm going to hand this off to you. Tell them the story of how you broke your neck, the repercussions, and your life before after.
Okay. Man.
Go for it. Go crazy.
All right. Well, started out, let's see, the summer of 2006. It was my first summer home from my first year of college. So you're going wild and just having a fun time after that I was home. So let's see, where were we? Okay. Friends of mine that I went to school with it was their first year, and they still continue to do this, but they have this camp out at someone's property called the 5-day, and they camp out there for 5 days. Okay.
Nice.
And some of these guys are like really serious about it. They have it like tattooed on them, like 5-day or like the number 5 and like all this stuff. But I feel like they always reference the first one because like, man, it was so crazy. Someone broke their neck, you know.
And that was
But
you. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so, and
Yeah.
that was 2000.
Yeah, 2006, right? Yeah, July of 2006. So we're there one night, and I think I stayed just one night, maybe 2. Never was there the whole day or anything. Just like someone had there were a couple tents set out. There's like a little lake, and it was actually on someone's like grandparents' property, I think. Oh, it's out in Columbiana.
Okay.
Just to give you like I guess a roundabout area of where it's taking place at. And we wake up in the morning and decided to go swimming at the grandparents' pool. That's just like a short walk away. And everybody goes there, and we're having a good time. And they have one of those like kind of kiddie slides that just like shoots straight down into the shallow end, or like maybe like kind of a deep end, not like too deep or anything, but just like your average like swimming pool with this like slide. And everybody's going down it, having a good time. And my friend Abby's like, oh, we should try it. Let's go down. And I was kind of scared at first. Not that there's really much to be afraid of, but I thought, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? I get water up my nose.
So you
know?
did have like just the lowest
Like the
bit of
littlest
fear.
reservations,
Okay.
yeah. And she still says to this day, like, I made you break your neck. But it's like not. It is no one's fault but my own for even doing this, because there's like a picture, on the side or on the slide, it's like saying that you can't.
Of like you breaking your
Yeah, basically,
No,
like
no.
with an X on it, or but yeah.
You're like, there was a photo of actually me breaking my neck on the side of the slide, and I was like, yeah, I'll ignore that.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Basically.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So, anyways, you saw the photo. You were like, what's the worst could happen? Because really,
Yeah.
I know you say it's no one's fault but your own, but you just went down a slide.
Yeah,
You didn't know
yeah.
what was going to happen.
You're right. And like I saw everyone else going in that same position too.
Right.
Some people were going out sideways. I swear people were went down it with a raft. Like, guys were just being stupid and
Right,
crazy.
right.
So I go down it, and I kind of go down, head first, kind of diving style, my hands out in front of me. And instead of kind of like turning up, which I thought, oh yeah, I'll just get water up my nose or something like that, I kind of like did a somersault and hit the back of my head on the bottom of the pool. And it's like I swear it's a cement like pool. It was like pretty old, like in-ground pool. I don't know if that makes a difference, but
No, it does. Yeah.
and so I kind of like saw stars for like just a second. But I came right up, and I was like, oh man, I really hit my head. And I kind of like swim off to the side and kind of got like a little bit dizzy for just a second. And then I kind of just like sat out, and I was like, oh man, it just like doesn't feel right. And so I kind of like hang out while everyone's kind of finishing up, and then we're like kind of in some pain, and some people like we just decide to like walk back. And we don't have like bathing suits or anything. We're just in like t-shirts and shorts, just like dripping wet, like on our way back. Like, man, I don't feel great. So then somebody kind of like lays me down in the tent and tries to like, just like give me some ice out of the coolers and things like that. And I kind of realized that I can't. Ooh, this is crazy. Little obstacle. I realized that I can't move my head, left or right. And then when they laid me down, I realized that I can't like pick my head up. Like I'm laying on my back, and then I feel like I can't like lift
So
my
all of
head.
a sudden, it's starting to come
Yeah.
together. That must
Then I'm
be
like-
how a lot of people break their necks. Like, it must
Yeah.
not. You know how like all the time, whenever you get hurt, it's like almost 80% of the time not really a fantastic story. Like yours is a pretty
Yeah.
good one. But
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? It's never
It's
like
alright.
I jumped, I snowboarded over. It's always like I think
Yeah.
my brother. I think Jack broke his foot by like jumping off a chair, you know, on the floor. You know, he just
okay.
jumped off a chair on the
Right,
floor.
right,
Like,
right.
You do that now as a 30, or you're not 30
Yeah,
yet, but you know,
yeah.
as someone
Yeah.
who's an adult, and like, so, but yours is like right in the middle. So you probably, it must be so many times that someone breaks their neck, they think they didn't.
Yeah,
For a
yeah.
while before it happened.
Yeah, yeah, and like I didn't think like it was very serious, and like at the time I was like my sister was there too that night with us, and I drove us, but I was like living with my dad and she was living with my mom, but like I thought it best to like. My mom would probably know what to do, so I just had her like take me back to my mom's, like who lived in Greenford at the time, and kind of waited for her to get home for a minute because I didn't want to like worry her too much, and then like I called her, and when she ended up coming home, we decided to go to Salem Hospital because I think it was like on a weekend too. So when they brought me there and they put a neck brace on me right away just in case. I think they just do that as a precaution, like when anyone's like had an injury.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I have to get an MRI. Yeah. Okay. So I've never had one of those done. It's like loud and
Claustrophobic.
yeah. You're like in that tunnel. And the doctor said, like, or a nurse, someone said, it might take like quite a bit for us to get all the results back, and then we'll tell you if we see anything. And it was like so quick that they came back and they're like, all right, we see a fracture and we can't treat you here, so we're going to, you should go to St. E's downtown. So they transfer me there, and by then I was like, all right, something's definitely like wrong, I could tell. And like still at the time, like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I don't know much about like injuries or whatever, but like, I'm kind of out of it too. But it didn't quite like hit me until like, they like put me on a stretcher and like transport me by ambulance, Not.
Did they say any damage had been done by the way you treated your neck since the accident before you got there?
I don't think so. I'm pretty
That's good.
sure. Yeah, because like,
Sounds like your friends were pretty careful with you and stuff.
Yeah, like one of the things that did go through my mind was like, man, did I like do something afterwards? Should have gone right to the hospital. But I guess they like explained that like that happened like on impact, which is good. Like I didn't do like further damage or anything.
Right.
But so they brought me to St. E's, and it wasn't. They said that they'd wait till the morning until like the neurologist got there before they like decided what they were gonna do. But I know my mom wouldn't tell me right away, but like they had stuff to shave my head in certain parts to put a halo in, because I think I had asked my mom, like, what is that, like, what, like shaving cream and like a razor or like a bowl or something, something like sitting there to cleanse the area, so when they because most of the time when you break your neck, you get a halo, put in you, and they have to like screw it into your skull.
And for people that don't know what that is, that's that like wiry thing that looks like headgear, right?
Right.
Like big headgear. Okay.
Yeah, you described it perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah, you described that perfectly.
And then so that they put that thing on there, and I'm not going to run you past too much detail. You can go on, but I think this is a really important part to give the listeners your backstory, because I know that from here you're going to talk about what you had to do after, what drugs you had to take, what things you had to go to, and how it may have affected like your life. So like, guys, this is Erin Kane. She's a friend of mine. She if you guys, it doesn't really matter if you listen to my music or not, but she's definitely been like a guest on clarinet at shows once or twice. And she has played in a lot of other Youngstown bands. Like she sat in on a recording and a show of Modern Life, I believe. And then you did.
That's right.
And you and more importantly, she is an ongoing like educational like music person, gives music lessons, directs the band at South Range Schools, which is Greenford, North Lima, Ohio areas, and she gives music lessons, goes to Cincinnati and does like marching band like choreography even with the marching band, let alone like the music and stuff. Music. Erin does music. So like bearing that in mind. Yeah, she's a groupie for our band and like other things like lots of Youngstown people that we know, but bear in mind, so she's going to school for like creative things right now while this is happening. So why don't you tell me just with that in the back of your head how it affected your life and what you had to do and what drugs you had to like take?
Well, you know, they started me off on like, you know, like the pretty hard like painkillers. I guess like Percocet and Vicodin, and you know, taking those for like just quite a while. And I remember taking, you know, like half pills, and you know they'd make me really nauseous, so they gave me anti-nausea and like other things to calm my nerves. Like I swear, when I got home from the hospital, I swear I had like took Valium like a couple times, like just right when I got out of the hospital. And these were like things I was just like not used to. I had actually never taken them.
0 to 10 as far as that goes.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah. But I was just like in so much pain, you know. Yeah. So after a while, you know, my tolerance was like built up. You know, I went to physical therapy and I kept wearing, they kept me on my neck brace. I didn't have to have a halo. They just kind of treated me with this like stiff neck brace. And I kept seeing the doctor, but he just kept like prescribing me more and more medicine. And like at the peak, before they switched me to even heavier stuff, I was taking like, oh, this is bad to say, but like, I was like popping them like Tylenol. I was like taking like 2 Percocet or 2 Vicodin like 5 times a day. Like if you
was
had.
that supposed to have been?
No.
Okay.
No, like it was like I was only taking it per, like, you know, when I had the pain. Where's my house? And yeah, it just like it was a weird thing to get to that like that tolerance. And you know, during this time, I like ended up getting a job at some point. But for the most part, in the early months, I just sat around and I laid around and I watched TV.
Yeah.
Like I like didn't do much
like
else.
anybody would.
Yeah. Like I remember for the first couple weeks, like I was like so stiff. Like my mom and my sister had to like bathe me.
Right.
You know,
right.
like you know. But like once I was able to like, you know, move around, and then eventually I got my neck brace off. A couple months later, where was I? They had to put me on like harder things like Oxycontin.
Right.
And that was just like crazy, like to me, like you hear these things and I'm like, oh man, I'm taking these. And then when I passed up those, I don't think I was on those for very long. I remember we sought out another pain specialist, and he I think he had me taking something, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like something that was like, I remember somebody that like Mindy was dating at the time, he like did some research for me, and I remember he said that it was like 6 to 8 times stronger than morphine, this pill.
Okay.
So I was like, and I was still functioning. I had a couple like epidurals, like some shots in my spine a couple times from him, but his whole thing was like, I'm going to try to like, you know, I have a list of these things that I can do to help, but if none of these work, then we'll go to like plan B and you will go to rehab.
Yes.
So I remember I it was just like a couple months until that I had. I worked at Aladdin's for a couple months.
And you were what age?
I was
22 or something?
Yeah, I think even. Man, maybe even like 21.
Yeah, okay. So he says maybe rehab, and you mean rehab
Yeah,
in the
maybe
sense
20,
of
21.
physical rehab, or
Well,
did
kind
you
of
mean
both.
Yeah.
Like it was called it was like up in the Cleveland Clinic, and it was this specific like chronic pain rehabilitation center where they would physically give you, like, you'd go through treatments, they'd take you off your drugs, but then you'd also do like even just like mental like therapy sessions,
Okay.
like just everything dealing with pain they would do there.
And was that given to you specifically because of your condition, or is it like super common that anyone, no matter what, even if they're taking what they're supposed to take, they go to drug rehab?
I think
Or was
for me, I think it was just like a last case scenario. They kept giving me these things and I still had pain.
Right. So there was kind of a line blurred there, right?
Yeah.
Where you were like, the pain's still there, so I'm doing more, and I know that that's categorizing me as someone who's addicted now.
Yeah, right.
But you probably came at it like the way a lot of people come at it, where you're like, I thought I was just solving the problem. Like, it wasn't like I was like, I like these, I'm going to take a bunch of them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I just was like, I was so miserable. And that happened, I didn't go to rehab until it was a year and a half later from me breaking my neck. So I'm trying to think, it was, Chloe was born, and I think, and then a couple months, like my sister had a little girl, and then like a month after that, that's when they sent me there.
Okay.
So that was probably like that seems right. That I was that
around
old.
21. And then what happened with school? Did you technically like drop out of school for a while?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Like when I came home from school, when I first broke my neck, I like decided not to go back.
Right.
'Cause like I
could you?
couldn't. Yeah. And it was kind of weird too. I had like kind of a some things kind of like. I was even kind of like considering, I had a couple things, like I was considering going, like I went to Bowling Green, and I was considering going to YSU instead. The clarinet teacher there really wanted me to go there. I'd taken lessons off of him for a year, and he thought maybe I would like fit in better the clarinet studio there, and I kind of liked his teaching style a little better. But I also was thinking about taking a semester off in the fall because I had just made this Air National Guard band. Do you remember me telling you about that a long time ago?
Yeah, I definitely remember.
They are stationed, I don't think they're there anymore, but they're stationed out of Toledo.
Yeah.
And so I had like people in Bowling Green, because they're just like 15 minutes away, that were in that band. My first cousin was in the band. One of the directors at South Range was in the band. So they kind of got me the hook up there, and I kind of sat in with them a couple times, then auditioned, and then I made it when they had a clarinet position open. And I was going to play clarinet and then do saxophone there, and I made it, and like I got like sworn in. I took this like MEPS exam. Didn't get too far, but they were getting my like boot camp dates ready, which it's crazy to think that I could have ever gotten
It was
to like
close to that.
boot camp.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in my end, like, so I came up with Jack and Peppy, and we played.
Sorry, I'm like pushing you off the
No,
sidewalk.
you're good. It's kind of me. I have like this very slight vertigo, unfortunately. Like, I don't know why, but me and Jack and Peppy as third class came and played a show, and we saw you as this young college kid, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then I went a few months without seeing you, and then I saw you again, and it was like this kind of infamous Erin who like wasn't like I saw you and I was like, she's not cool anymore. I liked you just as much as ever. And it was great, but you were spaced out when I saw you, and like
it's like a zombie.
and like and that's nobody's fault. That's just like what it's like when you're sitting there trying to rehabilitate and like function with like taking those drugs. Pain. But is that a blur? Is that kind of a blur to you? Is your life a blur right there?
It is. Like Corey like tells me some things sometimes about like what I was like, and even especially my family, them telling me just like weird instances and just maybe even like my personality or like what I would do. Like someone came over to visit me once and I like fell asleep while like talking to them.
Oh, I
you know, like
that happens so easily.
you know, like I just like can't imagine.
And I remember a funny story, if you don't mind me telling. I remember like a New Year's Eve where you were like, we'd like call you and we were like, "Are you coming, Erin?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, I'm on my way." And then we'd call you again and you're like,
Yeah.
"I'm on my way." It would be like 9. You want to like sit here? Just go.
Yeah, that's
9,
cool.
9 p.m. Call Erin. Yeah, I'm on my way. 10
Yeah.
p.m. Call Erin. Call Erin and be like, "Yeah, I'm on my way." Sorry. And then you can come out here and hang out if you want, Ellen. You want to come out and talk? And then 11 p.m. rolls around and you're like, "On my way."
Yeah.
Then like I remember you running in at
Totally
like 3
lying.
minutes till midnight.
Yeah.
And be like, "Happy New Year," kind of like thing. And like,
Yeah.
and I don't bring that up. It's okay if you want me not to
No, please.
say that. I just thought it was funny.
It
add
is,
Like,
yeah.
And I remember at the
Yeah.
time, even at the time, think it was funny too.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, do you think now that overall, I guess the big question is like overall, so to put it in perspective, you broke your neck on a slide, you went through the drugs you had to be on, you went through being rehabilitated and healed. Do you feel like overall, like how has it affected you long term now that you're way out of it? Like how old are you now for the listeners?
Well, I'm 28.
Yeah.
And I feel like pretty good. I run into some people sometimes and they're like, "Oh man, yeah, I forgot that like you broke your neck. Like, how do you feel now?" And you know, just you know, people, and I feel good, but like sometimes I wonder like if it has like I've, you know, friends of mine like have said like, you know, you've been different ever since you broke your neck. Like I don't know, I feel very clear. I feel very what do I mean to say, present.
I didn't know you like super well before that, so I'm not a good person to ask, but my theory was always that it threw you into adulthood really fast.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
that you would probably be kind of like this now, but who's to say? And
Right.
but like you,
Yeah.
like a large amount of like seriousness happened all of a sudden.
Yeah, it did. And then, but I also think like in a lot of ways, like it also maybe held me back even a little bit because I just would like, you know, I was living with my dad at the time. I mean, I was like pretty concerned like about money. I did need to work.
Yeah.
You know, I had bills. I started getting like, you know, student loans and just my own personal bills, but I wasn't paying rent, you know.
Right.
And I just like just probably wasn't making much money, and like didn't care much, or like I don't know, I just maybe probably didn't take my job seriously. I had a job even before then. That like, you know, I would sleep in for, I wouldn't hear my alarm, and like, you know, I could have been fired, you know, before, or like, I don't know, so like maybe I kind of like let it, I don't know. I mean, I guess those are the things you're doing maybe when you're early 20s
no,
anyways.
But I mean, if
but
those are the
maybe.
negatives that you got out of it, what were the positive? On the other side now, what are the positives?
I think going to rehab, it was like a really great place. I think it taught me like a lot about myself. They more so, you know, they did like occupational therapy where they would show you, you know, how to load the dishes and how to like carry groceries down the steps properly and how to walk and how to make a bed or move tables. Like they were very specific, like, what is your job? And I'm like, you know, I'm waiting tables right now. And they would show me, okay, well, this is how you push tables together and that you hold things, you know, uprighter. And they even did vacuuming so you wouldn't like, you know, I guess hunch over in a certain way, like you're
Cool.
I don't know how to like describe this. It's like your back and your spine needs to like just the way it should be positioned, so you're not like putting any strain on like a certain part of it, you know.
That's good.
But other than that, we did a lot of like pain therapy sessions, like visualizing your pain, and like also like in your life maybe what's like bothering you, or like maybe what you have like some reservations on, or like I don't know, just deep things that you haven't like really talked about or anything.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. So I think it kind of helped me to like, because I still did have some pain after rehab. I know it was like a big like like adjustment, like, they take you off all of your bad medicine.
Yeah.
They don't want you to replace it with anything. They just like, they gave me like good medicines, but they don't want, there's some other sort of like, I think it's called like methadone that they're like not keen on because there's
that's
still
right.
like maybe some.
They don't do that.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't. They're like, just strictly like, they're just like very against that. But I don't know. They had like my parents come up, like the parents were supposed to come up, or a family member or somebody that's like close to you every weekend, every Friday. And I was there for a month. I was staying with like family friends of my parents in Cleveland, and then I would come home on the weekends. But it was nice to like have them there. So then like I was in a center with everybody that was in the same position as me.
Same.
So you could like it was nice to like everybody was there. People weren't there that were just like drug addicts or something. So like everybody had an injury, and they were all like, I am in so much pain, and this is horrible, and I like want to fix it, So it was like, everybody had, just like, I don't know, some. Everybody has different things going on in their life. So like you got to hear their stories, and some were a lot older than me. Some were, I was probably like, one of the youngest, at the time. But it's still like, I think just like helped me kind of like, not merely cope with things, but maybe like think about things a little,
Perspective, at least. Well, I mean,
differently.
some of the reason I wanted to, I'm glad you told this story, because some of the reason I wanted you to tell it, like the least reason is just because the podcast that I'm like a fan of is this one that has Jason Mewes on it, who plays Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, and he has relapsed and on a heroin and other drug addiction. That was the reason he relapsed was because he went to some doctor's appointment and they gave him drugs, and then he justified his way back in. So it's not like your situation, but I think that your story, more importantly, the reason I ask you, that was a nice like parallel with like a podcast that inspired me. But more importantly, it feels like you telling a story might help somebody, like randomly. Like I don't know who's listening, and it might not be anyone who's interested, but more times than not, it probably is. Like it's probably like, aside from it being an interesting story of like overcoming something, especially like something that was so painful, I think a lot of people go through something similar that could probably be, that you could probably put a blanket over both. So like, I think it's important that you tell it, just because I think that like somebody could be listening that went through something kind of similar, and they might be right in the middle of it right now, whereas you're at the end. You made it years past.
I never thought.
I mean, that happens to so many people. If you were in a specified spot, just where people that all went through a similar thing of you, in one wing of a hospital, imagine how many other spots where that was happening. Like, this must be a pretty common thing. Like, I'm not saying if someone's listening who broke their neck, you're gonna be okay. If we're so lucky that it's that specific, cool. But I guess I mean, like, if a listener is going through some sort of rehabilitation or any sort of hospitalization, or if they have in the past, or whatever, this story might be something to them. That's the only reason I do it. Not to justify the hell out of it.
Yeah, you're right, though.
To tell a story
for sure.
to tell it's a story.
For sure.
But like,
there's like, you are going to make it.
But yeah, you could be like helping somebody right now. We'll never know. But okay, let me just ask you, I know you and me aren't like inclined to do this, but can I ask you like the typical questions that I sometimes ask? You can just give me a short, like, like, what religion are you?
I would say atheist.
Okay, and what do you think of Ohio?
Man, I swear I always listen to these questions, like when, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have a great answer. But for Ohio, I like Ohio. I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm able to like explore it a little more. But I feel like I definitely have like more to experience. I guess that's not even relating to like Ohio, but I was listening to like, not to like copy what he said, but I think I was listening to the Jimmy Fro podcast, and he was saying like about like the 4 seasons and how you like take that for granted, and we're kind of like, we just started summer, so like, we're like all excited, like, man, I can't believe like it's not even June, it's going to be in a couple days, but I like getting excited about like each season. Well, I guess I'm not too keen like the cold months or anything, but like when there is a change, we're like, man, yeah, they're like, this is so exciting. We have so much summer left. It's
Yeah.
like crazy. So, we like really savor like that time. But
Yeah.
I think it's like what you make, the most. And I haven't really experienced like so much of why I've like pretty much like lived in the same area like almost all my life. Yeah, I like it.
Dude, just in case, like, this is summer of 2015. Way older Lee and Erin, if you just happen upon this way later, like, you're gonna be like, look, listen how high my voice is, and like, you just know, like, you're gonna sound like a kid to yourself if you're listening now. So, just in case, way down the line, I know it's really almost pointless to try to predict something like this, but just to document, this is the summer of 2015, and we're really excited about it as adults. We're like kids about it because we have 4 seasons here, and it's still exciting after all these years. And then what song would you take on an island if you had to take one?
Okay. I think I've thought about this a little while. There are like a couple that were, going around in my head, but I think a song that like always comes back to me, and I haven't listened to it in a while, but I think like when someone ever were to ask, like, describe like yourself, or like, what would you want to be played like in the background maybe of like, your life, or like, I don't know. These are like things that I'm asking myself. I think I really like the song These Days by Nico. It's very like whimsical, and I think it kind of like takes me back to a time when I was like around 17, and I was kind of like being exposed to like kind of like this, like all you guys, and like this kind of like, kind of alternative way of like thinking, and like, just thinking about the world and asking questions. And like, I feel like that is when I like woke up. Like I was like, all right, that's me. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember some things that happened, obviously like middle school and like early high school, but I feel like I really got my personality when I was like around like my later teens, like junior and senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. I just had like a lot of like influences around me. That song is in a really cool scene of like the Royal Tenenbaums, which I really like. It's like when Margot is going to see Richie. She like steps out of like a Greyhound bus, and like everything gets quiet, and then she's just like walking like really slowly, and then nothing. They just kind of like look at each other, and it's like kind of this like sad but like happy moment. And like I feel like whenever I would play that song, like the world would like stop and like maybe like bring me back. I remember I loved listening to it in my car when I first was able to like I don't know, take some like drives with my friends, like out to East Palestine, and like,
that's cool.
Just like long drives to 7 and 14 or something. I don't know.
Man,
but
you really painted a picture with that.
Yeah. And it's like, it kind of feels like it could be in a couple different seasons. Like, it's snowing outside, and then I can play that song. Or like in like a really sunny day, it fits well there. But like, it just, there's something about it. And I think it was like originally first done by like Jackson Browne, I want to say. I think. Yeah. I could be wrong. But the guitar in it is just like so pretty. And there's strings in it. Like, and Nico is this like, she's like this like, for people that like don't know, she's like this, and I don't know too much about her, but I know she was like this German model for Andy Warhol. And she played, she was like, she was with that Velvet Underground for a little while. I think they called her I don't know how you pronounce it, but like the chanteuse, like she's like the front woman for a little bit.
Right.
And she recorded like a couple albums, but she had like a solo career. And around that time, she put out that album, and it's just like,
that's cool.
I don't know, it's very like, beautiful.
Oh, I can definitely draw a line to it. I don't know like of like a huge influence before that age for me, but I know after that age, probably because of you and because of other friends, like we covered a Velvet Underground song when Lou Reed died. Just
I
for
loved that
the
when you
sake
guys
of it. Yeah. And then we have a song called
Blue
These
Eyes,
Days.
right?
It's not inspired by the Nico These Days, but I noticed that's one of the only song titles that lots of artists have that I don't think is like generic. Like I like hearing those words together all the time.
You're
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a lame thing, but it's like you can have like certain song titles that never go out of style. Like if you have a song called Love or a song called like My Heart, that's totally okay.
Right.
Like that's
is.
okay with me. Like it's stupid and silly, but it's always
like
okay.
That. Think of how many people have the title these days, like for their song. But just like I like the way that sounds too.
It's cool. And then I think I'm probably missing one. What did I say? Religion, Ohio, music. What else?
I think I remember Nursery. Like, what do I think?
Okay.
And I have to just like go with like the first thing that I thought of when you were asking like the first listener, you know, about this. And I know this is so weird, but I didn't really, I never heard like the word nursery really like growing up or anything. But what comes to mind, and I don't know why this sticks out, but there's a scene in Peter Pan, the Disney like cartoon Peter Pan, where they're telling, I think the parents are telling Wendy that she's like maybe grown out of the nursery. And I was thinking to myself, like, when I was like little, like, oh man, like I think they're telling her that like she's no longer going to be in like the same like room with her brothers, these children, like, and like she'll be like growing up and getting her own room. And like, I don't know if I was like thinking that, cause like I probably shared a room with my sister at the time. But I just like never heard like that term before. And I think maybe that was like, one of the first times I had heard that, used for that. So I guess I think of like I guess more of like a child's like room. Not that my parents ever used that, but like that is a weird. I know. I just like I kept thinking that in like my mind.
You have good answers.
It's that's a weird one, but I don't know why. Like it's the way he says it. Like like Wendy. Like I don't even know.
Which one are you referring? Which Peter Pan are you talking about?
Like the Disney cartoon.
The cartoon one. Yeah. That's a good one. It's really cool timing that you say that, because I recently edited together an episode called Archivists and Cherry Garcia, and Sarah Loran, who's from Youngstown originally and lives in Texas now, she talked about Peter Pan syndrome in accordance to like the music that we make about childhood and stuff and this and that, and like I think it was a nice connection, because this weird like definition I'm trying to cobble together of the podcast, there's like another brick kind of put in place with you saying that, whereas like, one thing I didn't address to listeners very obviously is that we're infinite like children, like the Danny and Mike podcast for Pete and Pete, they describe themselves as that, and it's like it's not so much that like that means we're all immature, it just means like like we're excited about the Four Seasons still. Like we just have the childlike qualities still in our attitude sometimes. So like Nursery is a good name for that, because we do act like kids a lot. Everyone on the show will have acted like a kid by the time I'm done with them. You know, like to some extent. But okay, well then, is there anything you want to say to? Can you say anything to my mom?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, first, can you say, look, Mom, we're on a podcast, and then add your message to my mom?
Okay. Look, Mom, we're on podcast. What should I say to your mom? Hey, KB.
How long has it been since you've seen her? Probably a long time.
You know, I swear the last time I saw your mom, maybe it was at a show.
Probably.
Yeah. And she just, like, always has, like, the nicest things to say, you know? God. She really does. Like, she always has, like, a smile, and, like, she's, like, she has such, like, a calm, like, presence. You know, whenever she's talking with anybody, it's always just, like, nice to see her. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, thanks for doing that. That was more than cool, like, good answers and good things. So, guys, thanks a lot for listening. See ya. Podcast is sponsored by the Orange Avocado Alternative Bakery, specializing in vegan, gluten-free treats made with organic and raw materials.
These days, I feel like you agree with me. We're exactly where we should be, both abstractly and physically. forest to trees, in the meadow with birds and bees. These days I'm beginning to understand the invisible wise at hand, and the way that they make us stand. These days I've been staring at you in snow, I've been feeling more in the know, I've been missing you when you go.
When you were a baby, you went to the bathroom all over the place.